It says I'm live. I guess I am. So they say. Supposed to be live at 9 o'clock, but it's like 1 minute till, which I really don't think makes a difference. I don't even know if I'm loud enough, but because nobody's on for me to ask. So you're just going to keep this party going. Why am I doing this? This is my idea of facing my fears. I hate looking at myself. I hate going live. I don't like to see myself talking, even though when I started the podcast, I really didn't like to hear myself. I'm getting over that now. But it is even harder to look at myself or stare at a camera. And I don't have a regular camera. I will get there eventually one day. Also, I'll get better lighting because I tried the dark mode thingy last week and it was okay, but I needed more like spotlight on my face. So I'm still a little dark in the room and I'm a dark girl. So this is definitely out of my comfort zone. I like the light as bright as possible so that I don't get I only see eyes and teeth jokes. So this is out of my comfort zone. But again, you're assigned to do something outside of your comfort zone because this is definitely outside of my comfort zone. So, but we're live and I am going to go on whether no one signs on or one person signs on. And eventually you guys will get the picture that I go live every Friday. I'm building my YouTube audience. So this is something that I'm doing to try to get traction. And it's okay. It is okay. I am perfectly fine with this because guess what? After I get off of this live, then the video will still exist and you can always go back to watch it. So what am I going to talk about tonight? First of all, I just ranted about how uncomfortable I am, but that's why I drink wine while I'm doing this. And I eat my favorite snack as pastime. Now, will I always get on here and eat Twizzlers and drink wine? Probably not. I don't want to be like your favorite. What are y'all calling people? Mukbang? I don't know what you call it. The people that eat, that make the noise. And then y'all say, oh, you ate so much, now you gain weight. I don't want to be that girl that ate so many Twizzlers that, my face looks like it. And now I become an Aki because I've been drinking so much wine. So that won't be the case. But until I get comfortable with this, we'll run with it. So before I get into talking about your exes, one of my, they're not really a coworker. They work for an agency that comes through my organization in order to do recruiting work. So I call them my favorite coworker, even though they don't directly work for the same company that I work for. They're recently going through, well, not recently, they're currently going through a divorce. And he talks to me a lot. I don't know. I am a school counselor for those of you who don't know, but we're not really licensed therapists. Of course, school counseling, we handle a whole array of things within the school system. Yes, one thing is counseling students, but it's not so much on a deep level as though we're like assessing them, which we do. But when we do, sometimes it's to determine whether or not we can assist or whether or not, I'm so sorry, burping in the live is, or whether or not we need to refer it. So that's about what we do. But I am so transparent just in general as a person that most people feel comfortable in being transparent with me. So I learn a lot about people and they tell me a lot of their business. And so he's been telling me about this process with him and his wife and what they've been dealing with for a very long time now. And so we got to talking and he was talking about being unequally yoked, if that's a word, but you guys know what I'm talking about because you've heard of equally yoked. And he felt like, I guess he and his wife weren't equally yoked and that may have been part of the demise of their marriage. And then he mentioned that one person needs to love the other person more. And I got to say that I used to think that you needed to be, somebody needed to be more in love with you than you are with them in order for the situation to work. But as a woman, I felt that way. I felt like if the man was just completely obsessed with you, then the likelihood of them cheating on you would be slim to none. But what I realized is that has nothing to do with it. That man's lack of discipline or that woman's lack of discipline has more to do with it than whether or not they love you. And that at the end of the day, love has nothing to do with whether or not they cheat on you. But that's how he felt. And I understand because I too felt that way once I've been hurt. And I got to say that I feel like, based on everything he's told me, he's been hurt in that situation. He's definitely been hurt by that woman that he's been talking to, or wife. So now he just talks like mad trash about her, which is why I said stop hating your ex, because I think that when we're going through it with them, we allow that bad thing that caused us to split to overshadow all of the good times that we've had. Yes, that bad thing was enough to break you up, but that was over time. It wasn't always bad. And 9 times out of 10, even if your last year of marriage was rough, and say you were married for 10 years, 9 of it wasn't. So why is it that we take that little last year of a bad situation, last month, last situation of a relationship, and make that about what the whole relationship was about, to the point that when people ask us about our exes, we go immediately to the bad thing. And of course, the people that you're talking to, whatever, oh Lord, I'm putting a red spot on my shirt. The people that you're talking to, uh, they're fooling up with you with that. So, but not thinking that at some point you're going to be the ex too. So I just feel like you shouldn't discuss the ex at all. If you get into a new relationship and that partner is concerned about what you did with your ex, then something's wrong with them. Something's wrong with them if they want to know why. I can understand if you were married and someone wants to know why the marriage ended. I think that that's a fair question when you were married and you had children. But if you were just in a relationship with somebody and the other person is just trying to figure out why you ended the relationship, it's okay to just say it didn't work out. Going into detail, to me, either says that you're still in love, or it says that you don't take fault in any of it and you blame the other person. Either way, it's not cool. It is not cool at all whatsoever. So let's practice. It just didn't. It just didn't last. It just ended. It wasn't meant to be. You know, we just had differences. A couple of different things you can say, but definitely, oh, she did this, he did that, I call him cheating. Let me tell you what they did. They did this, they did that. No, none of it is necessary, because I saw a reel and the lady was like, how do you know when you were a fucked up individual, you were a messed up individual? Sorry, I'm trying not to curse. She said, did you leave the people, meaning your ex, in a better situation than you found them? And even me, I've learned to not hate on anybody that I've dealt with. I only wish them the best, because at some point I had feelings for these people and I only want to see them. Obviously, I wasn't for them, they weren't for me, and how things worked out. So I don't have any ill feelings. Yes, I know that takes time. That's not something that is going to happen the next day you break up, the next week, or even sometimes the next year. But if you think about it, at some point you two were good to each other, and that to me should mean something. And just because it didn't work, even if it didn't work because they cheated on you and you found out, at some point the relationship was good enough for you to stay in it. And you don't have to bash that person when you're done with them. And if you are, as the ex, if it's being honest about the person, you know that it wasn't all bad, and you know that they have good parts to them, and that whatever it was that they did, it could have just been that they fell out of love and you feeling some type of way because you weren't ready to end. I noticed that people have an issue with breakups when they weren't in control of the outcome. If it was amicable and you guys ended it on mutual terms, like we both agree, then usually you don't have those issues where people don't like each other. But when one person ended it and the other one didn't want it, that person who did not want it is always bitter. And they're bitter and they're angry, and then all of a sudden you just ain't ish. And at the end of the day, just because I didn't want to be with you doesn't mean that I'm a bad person, or that I'm gonna be a bad boyfriend or bad girlfriend to the next person I get with. So bashing that person to the next person is tacky. Now, do I think that if it was infidelity and I caught you in the act, and now I'm telling that girl, like, you need to be careful because if he did this to me, he'll do that to you? That's in the heat of argument. I don't think it should be months later you're still talking about, because I know a situation where the ex, who's also a baby mama, it's going to the people, like still reaching out to the current girlfriend who is also a baby mama and trying to get them split because she's obviously still in love. She's calling the parents of these people, and it's just like too much because she can't seem to get over exactly what it is that she's dealing with. But we can't hang on to people that don't want to hang on to us. That's just tacky. It's tacky, it's tasteless, and it's unnecessary, because if it's meant to be, and Ashanti and Nelly should be your prime example of this, then things will come back full circle. And sometimes when that happens, it's even better than it was before, because now you two have grown as individuals. Now you two know whether or not this is something that you really want to, or somebody you should really want to be with. And you can get to know each other all over again. That's possible. The problem is a lot of us keep ourselves available, hoping that that will happen. And that's where you mess up at. You still keep yourself open for that. No, go on with your life. Do what you want to do. Meet other people. Go out. Have fun. And if that person comes along, allow it to happen naturally. You can't stop your life for that, but you can definitely decide to live life and allow love to come into you. But we got to stop the bashing of the ex and making it seem like you didn't do anything wrong. And guess what? People like to say, why did you waste my time then if you didn't want to be with me? Why did you stay so long if you didn't want to be with me? You know, it is such a thing as growing apart. It is. You can grow apart from somebody, and you can grow apart and not want to work on it. All of that is possible. All of that is possible. You can grow apart, not want to catch up with the person, and be like, you know what? I'm different. You're the same. This ain't working. Or I'm the same. You're totally different than the girl that I met or guy that I met. And I don't want to do this no more. And we have got to stop feeling like we own people. We own people, and that you have to be with me because we've been together for so long. You got to be in my life because, you know, I love you. What's love got to do with it? By the way, that was the realest thing I've ever heard. I say it all the time. I'm gonna have to repeat it. It's the realest thing. What's love got to do with it? You know, you can't sing songs on stuff like this because then you'll get like copyright thingy, but I do want to sing the song. I'm that girl that likes to sing lyrics. So yeah. What's love got to do with it? I had a girl ask me today. She said, why do we care so much about love? Like, why is love such a big thing? And why, I'm sure you all thinking, why all these podcasters always talking about relationships and always talking about love? It's because we're human. We're human beings. And one of our hierarchy of needs is love, is wanting to be loved and nurtured and cared for, or be caring. That's a part of our DNA. It's impossible to think. And you have to think about it. When you're a child, you're getting that love and nurturing and support from your family, from your parents in particular. But then you grow up, and not to say that you still don't have that, but you yearn for a different type of love, and that void or feeling is always going to be that. And typically you don't get that unless it's coming from a romantic love, right? I was going to say opposite sex, but you know, that ain't always the case. So to each his own, but I'm just saying that's why I'm changing it to romantic or romantic love, to just assist with fulfilling your hierarchy of needs, right? And no, love isn't the end all be all, but also you can love somebody and not be with them. And I think that's where we suffer from. You don't have to be with your ex. You can still love them and not be with them. That's okay. But we feel like, again, that ownership of that is, if I love you, I have to be with you. And that's just not the case. You can love people from afar, because I honestly am a person that feels like once you're in love, once you're in love, I won't say in love. Once you love a person, you never stop loving them. If it's real love, that's how I feel. Now, I know y'all probably thinking I don't feel like that. That's how I feel. If you really say you love somebody, you always love them. Whether or not you're with them or not, you always love them. That doesn't mean you want to be with them. That doesn't mean that they want to be with you. It just means that you still have feelings for them. And you can still have feelings for people. You can still love them without being with them. And guess what? You can still be in love with whoever your current person is and still have love for your ex. Don't you love both of your parents? Don't you love all of your children? Who says you can't have that love spread around for all the exes, right? Mm. Now, there's some exes you love, you was happy to get rid of. Why do I keep spitting up out my mouth? I'm sorry, y'all. Maybe going live ain't my thing. But I don't take myself serious, so spitting up at the mouth, burping, it is what it is. You know those people that be eating, I'll be like, oh my God, food everywhere, smacking, slobbering. It is what it is. I'm more of a Wendy Williams type of girl. I don't really got no shame. I don't really care. I already told you I'm already uncomfortable going live and being on camera at all, period. So it just is what it is. This is going to be just dead out there for people to watch and be like, did you see her spit that twisted out her mouth? I didn't put it back in my mouth, though. And that would have been nasty. And you all would have talked about me. But anyway, back to what I was talking about, if I can remember. Hierarchy of needs, being in love with somebody you can't be with, not having ownership. I don't remember. But I'm 43. Don't judge me. But yeah, so you don't own these people. You don't have any type of just rights to that situation. And you got to learn how to coexist and just have genuine love for people all around. And that's possible. Now, I ain't telling you to go around and tell everybody I still love my ex, or your new partner and say that, because that's not what I mean. I just mean that once I care for somebody, I always care for them, and I wish them luck, and I pray for them, and I want to see them do well. And now I'm not saying that was again instant. I am going to go through all the signs of grieving. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be angry again. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be sad. Like, it's going to be a rotation of things until it's all even. And I can say that I've overcome that. I'm done with it. I'm good. It's natural. It's a natural thing. Doesn't mean that something's wrong. And like my little students at school say, why is the love hurt so bad? And all I can think of is you're not in love. But when you figure that out and you do find the love of your life, yeah, it hurts. It sucks because in your mind, you've made up what your life is already going to be like. And then it's not just that you've lost the love, but you've lost your dream. You've lost goals because you've already imagined your life with them. Most people do. Even if you're not thinking marriage, you're still not thinking that your life is not going to include that person. So grief doesn't have to necessarily be because someone passed away, but these people are no longer in your life. So you're grieving their lack of presence. That is, and it's natural. It's going to happen. Don't beat yourself up about it. But also, again, back to the whole point, just don't bash them either. Just allow yourself to understand it what it meant. And it just didn't work out. And that's normal to say. That line exists. And be mindful of the people who ask you about your ex a lot. Because what's their motive or agenda? And like my brother always told me, who was my little big brother, never tell somebody what somebody else didn't do for you or what you want, because all you're doing is giving them the blueprint on how to treat you. So if you go through a story to tell them, well, my ex never took me out, my ex didn't do this, my ex didn't do that, then guess what they're going to do? All the stuff you said your ex didn't do, that doesn't help you figure out who you really want to be with. What that just gave them was, okay, I'll do all of this to make her or make him be into me. And then, you never get to see who those people truly are and what they truly bring to the table. And by the time that happens and they can no longer hide behind that interview stage, the first couple of months or so or weeks that they've been talking to you, then now all of a sudden you're like, but what changed? You were so into me. You did all these things. No, they were faking. They were doing what they thought you wanted. And then when they got tired of that, you didn't like who they were and you wanted them to go back to lying to you and go back to being fake. And obviously people can't do that. So number one, be yourself when you're in relationships. No need for the interview stage. If I was at across a dinner table, because you all technically are my date right now, and I'm talking to you across from this table that I'm sitting at, and what happened tonight happened on a date where I'm talking with while chewing, because that would typically not happen. I would probably do like this if I was still chewing and they asked me a question, but I'm not doing that now. I still would have kept talking and be like, my bad, because that's who I typically am. It takes a lot for me to be embarrassed or ashamed. I don't take myself serious. I'm not one of those prissy girls like, oh my God, don't look at me. eyelashes on. It's a filter. I don't care. You have to take me as I am, because it's the only way I'm gonna know whether or not you genuinely are into me. Because if I gotta fake it, then it's not gonna work. Because when I do become truly myself, then you're not gonna like it, and then that's when I get hurt. But if I'm myself from day one, if I show you who I truly am, and you good with that, then I get to be nice and sweet sometimes, and I get to now have a bad day because you know who I am at heart, and that's all that matters. But if I'm putting up a front that I'm just prim and proper girl, and I don't do this. A sidebar that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. There was just a question on the Breakfast Club about whether or not you use the bathroom um in front of your boyfriend or in front of your husband or whatever. And it's people out here that don't use the bathroom in front of their partners. Now, I'm not saying I do that. I don't use the bathroom in front, nor do I want anybody in the bathroom, not because I'm ashamed or just because I don't do that. It's nasty. I don't do it. So, plus I feel like that's my time. But I'm not ashamed to be like, I'm going to use the bathroom. And if I got gas or something and it just comes out, it just comes out. So that's that. But don't be that fake that you want to lie about having to go to the bathroom. That is just crazy. That is just crazy. And that's why you get talked about about your ex later. Man, she was fake. Man, I don't know what he was into, but he was on some other stuff because you're not being yourself. That's like when you, again, I call it the interview stage for a reason. When you go to the job and they say, "Hey Brenda, do you get to work on time? Do you go above and beyond? If you saw somebody stealing, would you tell?" And you're like, "Of course I would. Of course I get to work on time. Matter of fact, I'm usually there before my boss. By the time you done been in that job for about a month, you've been late about 3-4 times. And they looking like, well, I thought, Brenda, you said you were a good, upstanding employee." You got to stop lying to people in these relationships, and you got to show them who you are off top. So then now will never be, well, at one point I thought you was into me. Now you fell back. It's because you switched up, and you switch up because you feel like the heat is, the heat off you now. Oh, well, I've been talking to him for a while now. You forget that you was lying about your personality. You forget that you was putting up a front. You forget that you was trying to be somebody that you weren't. And then your slip was showing. And then now they're like, well, who the hell am I talking to? I don't know this person. And then again, now they're the bad guy when they say, you know what, this ain't working. And you're like, oh my God, how could you? They ghosted me. They did whatever. You were fronting. You. I had nothing to do with that person. That was all you. But listen, I ain't gonna hold you long tonight because I'm tired. It's been a rough week. And I have a funeral to go to tomorrow, unfortunately. My uncle passed away. We're in a family, so we have a funeral. I just want to clear my head. It's been a really long night. But I'm a person of my word and I'm consistent about what I do. So I said I was going to go live on Friday at 9 o'clock. I'm going to go live on Fridays at 9 o'clock every Friday, whether you here or you're not here, whether or not I got, again, 0 viewers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100. I'm going to be here. You can come. Join me if you want. If you don't, I'm going to be here. All right. Well, until next Friday, I'll holler at y'all. Bye.